Welcome to our new podcast series called In the Mix. I am Wynn Darden. I'm the business manager for the Lumiflon FEVE fluoropolymer resins. The podcasts are all about choosing the right coating solutions, where we discuss with industry experts what influences their decision-making processes when it comes to specifying and using coatings. We'll delve into how experts develop their strategic planning approach to current structural and future market demands. In this episode, we'll talk with three powder coaters. These are the people who actually apply FEVE fluoropolymer powder coatings to make functional components for architectural and other markets. We'll talk about powder coating application process, including surface preparation, coating application, the importance of quality control. We'll discuss how they view the AMMA 2605 durable powder coating market along with future trends, the importance of coater certification, and their involvement in the coating specification process. We'll review the increasing importance of sustainability in their business and how do they incorporate it into their processes. I'd like to welcome Kevin Maas of Maas Brothers in Livermore, California, Jared Ruggieri of Spectrum Metal Finishing in Youngstown, Ohio, and Jim Hester of Quality Powder Coatings from Carrollton, Texas. I'd also like to welcome Fiona Levin-Smith from IFS Coatings in Gainesville, Texas. IFS supplies the fluoropolymer powder coatings to our coaters. I really thank you all for doing the podcast.
Absolutely. Jim Hester, QPC Finish in Dallas. We were founded in 1993. Been at the company 21 years this time around. 800,000 square foot facility here in Dallas with customers from Hawaii to London and everywhere in between. So I'm the business development and sales manager for the company and pushing towards with a rifle point towards architectural aluminum. No more shotgunning, not looking for industrial coating, strictly aiming at architectural.
I'm Jared Ruggieri, the National Sales Manager for Spectrum Metal Finishing. Spectrum is one of the largest privately held architectural coaters in the U.S., located just outside of Pittsburgh. In my role with Spectrum, I work with glazing contractors, architects, and paint manufacturers in the color and paint system selection process to achieve the architects' and owners' vision and goals for a project.
I'm Kevin Maas with Maas Brothers Powder Coating, and we've been in business since 1998. And we started small, like everybody, and grew to the architectural and more. We do anything that people bring into us because everybody's parts are just as important as the next part. If it's a little piece or a big piece, and the architectural side is a whole nother push towards another level, and we are constantly pushing to be the best that we can, and it forces us to do the best we can all the time. So we were always pushing for everything, but architectural is a new. We're seeing a trend. There's a lot of outside of building facades and stuff like that it's going that way. So yeah, that's why we chose that.
Jim, so why did you choose to become a registered applicator?
So, registered applicator trending, as Kevin just kind of spoke towards, we've seen this trend. We've seen it for about 10 to 12 years, actually. So the way we describe it is turning an aircraft carrier is what we're trying to do here. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of work, a lot of work, actually. But we're definitely trending towards architectural powder coating being the norm. We're finally seeing it happen. So that's exactly why I want to become an applicator and a licensed applicator and represent several different companies where I hold licenses to shoot the 2605 powders.
Jared, how about you?
Spectrum chose to become a registered applicator for IFS because our core focus has always been the architectural market, as well as the technical support that we receive from the IFS lab. It's a huge benefit for us to be certified by every paint manufacturer, including IFS. It gives us the ability to meet any given specification from architects and OEMs.
Kevin, how about your point of view?
It's salesmen's do a lot of push. And when they walk in my shop, they suggest that this would be a good fit for you. And I don't do anything unless I've got a good salesman, right? So salesmen are half the battle. The product can be good, but if you don't have a good salesman, it doesn't support that. So we tried a few parts, and what really turned me on to it was you can't strip it. It doesn't strip. There's nothing that strips this stuff. You start over is what you do, and it's bulletproof. So that to me is a peace of mind because my name's on it, and I don't want to put a warranty on something that is with my name on it if I don't feel 100%. And the product is, you know, awesome. So that's why we continue to feel comfortable about, you're educating yourself as you go through your experiences. So that's why we chose.
How is a registered applicator different to an everyday or non-registered coder in the market?
Well, you don't really have any parameters. You can do, you walk in with a part and you do whatever behind the scenes and you hand it back, and people don't ask questions on how it was done. With the architectural, you have parameters to maintain because your name's on it and it's warranted. So everybody's IFS is counting on us to do what we say we're going to do, and without without being certified, you don't have to do that.
Jared, how about you?
Applicator builds instant credibility and confidence with our customers. Oftentimes, we're approached by OEMs that will only work with registered applicators because they know that we'll have the technical support of the manufacturer should we ever run into problems with an application. Although we don't run into any problems at Spectrum, it also upholds us to a higher standard. Both the applicator and paint manufacturer have a reputation to uphold, and working together to uphold that reputation is very important for the long-term success of both parties.
Jim, how about you?
Smaller facilities that do smaller projects, and there's definitely a different level when you step into the architectural world. The expectations from the specification writers to the architects to your reputation to the company, the powder that you're applying, and your company's reputation. It's different standard, different level of intensity and confidence. Absolutely.
What coating processes do you follow to ensure the highest level of coating performance?
I think everyone can agree on this on the call, but beneath every great coating performance is a great pretreatment system. Paint doesn't do any good if it's not adhering to the surface it was meant to cover. At Spectrum, we run a unique pretreatment. We run a 7-stage pretreatment as opposed to the typical 5-stage system. It's unique because we run the material through both a caustic cleaner as well as an acid cleaner on every piece of aluminum that runs through our facility. And what that does is it ensures that the aluminum is free of contaminants. The aluminum then moves on from the cleaning stages to the chrome stage, which applies a conversion coating that will become the adhesion base for the paint that's applied. To ensure consistency during the paint process, we run a fully automated horizontal conveyor powder line with 2 inline automatic booths, and that gives us the consistency and a little bit of an edge on our powder line versus someone with a booth batch operation.
Absolutely, 5-stage horizontal as well. We're chrome free technology. We believe in that. Make sure we're environmentally friendly as far as we can reach. Systems, checks, balances, temperatures. A partnership with a great powder manufacturer with a great quality powder. I jokingly say it's all fun and games till it falls off the building. So that's never going to not going to happen. Let's knock on wood. So we work very hard to make sure that you have tight systems in place to make sure that tanks are perfect and baths are clean and just running correctly and smoothly. It's a well-oiled machine, and it works very, very well when it's done correctly.
Well, we do the same thing. The tolerances in your tanks are very important. We have a closed loop system, which we don't have any drains in our tanks. All the water is ran back through an RO system and scrubbed and put back in and rinsed with brand new DI water before it gets the non-chromate sealer on it. And we run a lot of samples, and one color to the next color can change. So as far as the adhesion is the cleaning by hands down, but the colors change too. So you might have a setting, and we have a booth that has tons of settings. We have tons of automatic guns. But if you don't have a setting to that color, to that job, you're rolling the dice still. So whether a part has a bunch of perforations or pockets or Faradays or all that, you have to figure all that out too. So there's more to just than just cleaning and letting the guns do their thing. Um, I feel better if I've run a sample and I know that what have we what we produced is solid. So
Is there anything specific about your approach, and how would it differ from other coders? Jim, how about you?
If this is about application still, we build on throughput. We build on it being done correctly the first time through. Obviously, you want to maximize line density and line speed and temperatures and humidities and different settings because the machine needs to get great throughput and do it correctly. You cannot clip corners. You can't speed it up. So you have to slow it down in architectural. You've got to temp it up, temp it down. You've got to pay attention. A real close relationship with the manufacturers of the powders and the chemists at those plants, obviously, to make sure that we have cure curves and we stay on point. So it's definitely a partnership.
Jared, how about you?
Yeah, I think it goes back to our pre-treatment system. Again, we differ from the typical powder coater, and I think that applies to most of us on this call, that we are applying a pre-treatment that meets and exceeds the AMMA 2605 standards. We're applying that to every piece of aluminum that runs through our facility, whether it's for an AMMA 2603, AMMA 2604, or an AMMA 2605 paint application. The pre-treatment remains the same. We're also going back to the paint system. We're also running a fully automated conveyor as opposed to the booth setup, which allows us to coat over 10,000 square feet in a shift on each of our paint lines. It's what allows us to be efficient when we're running these large projects. And we're seeing more and more larger projects going powder, some of these monumental projects, which I'll talk about later.
Kevin, how about your point of view?
yeah, I would say right there with the process has got to be maintained. It has to be. There's no corners. I try to get everybody involved in my shop, and it's important that they all understand why it all the way from hanging the parts if they see something that's not right to when they take them down. That's all the way through. If we can catch something before it's done, that saves the customer and it validates why they chose us.
What type of architectural products do you powder coat?
At Spectrum, we're painting anything from extrusions up to 33 feet long, flat panels, formed panels, perforated panels, column covers, and hardware. The end uses range from general industrial to OEM to architectural. An interesting job that we recently powder coated was comprised of massive aluminum perforated panels that were 2 inches thick and weighed in at over 500 pounds. And those were for a U.S. defense contractor. But certainly one of the larger jobs in terms of aluminum size that we've painted.
Yeah, I'm huge in ceilings, interior ceilings. I'm huge in pergola, shade system, siding, soffits, wall panels. I can't seem to break the edge on curtain wall as of yet, but it's not for not trying. But the in residential windows, I'm not strong in residential windows, mixed use, but not anything residential, but all commercial. But I'm huge in several different areas. As far as all of my aluminum and all my 5-stage. A lot of interior, a lot of exterior, but again, siding, soffit, kind of the ceiling systems, signage companies. So we're focusing now on windows, curtain wall, and some other areas.
We've done the same thing: facades, railings, fencing, um, a lot of exterior building stuff, and the jobs kind of come. You don't really have any idea; they're all different, but whether it's a metallic or yellow or every job is different. That's what I've noticed with the architectural stuff. It's um, it's it's just it's the new fad. Everybody wants to be different. They have to be different to get their name out there as far as the architects. So if I make them look good, they keep coming back.
What type of architectural products do you see being coated with 2605 powders?
Yeah, AMMA 2605 is our wheelhouse. That's where the majority of our work lies. We do some OEM work that's outside of '05, a lot of interior stuff that's accessory scopes on the projects, but AMMA 2605 has always been our baby. And we primarily use 2605 powders to coat aluminum panels, aluminum extrusions for curtain wall systems. And these are primarily on the use of monumental projects. The projects can include anything from hospitals, stadiums, airports, high rises, convention centers, hotels, offices, and more recently, mixed use flagship developments.
Anything without from the first floor up, the UV protection. It's all about being longevity for UV, strong UV, anywhere with a strong sun. But I generally think the 2604 is viable for the first floor and all the things that you can touch and scratch and sniff on the first floors of the buildings and sculptures and things like that. But definitely the architectural on the high-rise buildings has got to remain at 2605.
Yeah, it's definitely on the outside of the buildings, and people, it's when you go outside to 2605, the powder jumps significantly. So if there's not a reason for it, they don't understand. So they want the warranty, but then you got to ask if you want to pay for the powder. So if it's going outside, they're going to spend the money, and if it's not, then that's what it's definitely outside stuff, always outside.
Jim, what's the most unusual object you've seen coated in your time?
In the architectural world, it's going to be sculptures. It's going to be some, artists will take up your whole day and they'll sample you to death. And but it's fun because they work on 2 projects a year, so it's very important to them. But we do get to do some crazy, exciting things with artists. As far as an industrial coating, we coated an 18,000-pound component to a train once, and a 10,000 10,000-pound barrel of a cement truck. So that's the 2 weirdest things I've seen. But in architectural, it's usually sculptures. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything famous?
I'm on. I'm on Mariah Carey's lights. I'm on Richard
Oh,
Branson's windows. I'm
okay.
on Tiger Woods windows. I've worked with a little man named Warren Buffett on his Nebraska Furniture Mart stores.
Okay.
I've met a lot of people along the way, or at least their assistants. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, you're in California. What have you coated odd? That's odd.
Boy, anything that'll fit in my oven, one oven or the next. But yeah, I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of people. But as far as coding stuff, it's the same. It's the sculptures, it's the pieces that they build 1,000 of them, and they all get riveted together to make some kind of creation. And most of those are from San Francisco or Berkeley, or but they're very unique. And for us, we don't get to see finished parts very often, so it's good to see pictures of something that's done when it's put together, because we put our name on it. I did do the airport in Aruba. If you ever go to Aruba, I did all of the candy colors. I mean, of all the places, candy airport, candy red, candy gold, and it's we were like, boy, I don't know, but it's still there. I went about 10 years later, so it's still there.
Fluoropolymer, I guess, right?
Yeah. So,
There you go.
yeah.
So that worked. How about you, Jared?
Yeah, so I know Spectrum has done some pretty cool and unique things over the years. In my time, over the past 5 years, one of the projects that we worked on was the Bulletin building in Philadelphia, and the architect was going for the Bulletin building has glass that has a ceramic frit with letters pulled from the original Philadelphia newspaper, and that's there to make the glass bird safe, which is very cool. And they had to import it in from Germany. And then for the aluminum on the exterior facade, there's a massive armature that was painted in basically like a cherry red, like Kevin was talking about. That was a cherry red off of an automotive color sample that we made into a 2605 by applying a clear coat to it. And so that the reason that was so unique was because it had to be a 2-coat powder, with the bright red 2604 base coat or color coat with a 2605 clear coat for the weathering performance. And then we've seen some crazy giant sunshades over the years, as well as a few other interesting pieces of aluminum paint.
Kevin, Fiona, Jim, and Jared, we thank you so much for joining us on In the Mix. It's always interesting to hear from other people in the value chain, and we deal a lot with the manufacturers, but sometimes we don't see the coders from our position here. So hopefully this podcast will help not only the people in the powder coating market value chain, but our managers to be able to see what the whole process looks like and get more involved with that and understand where our products are used and how they're used and get a greater appreciation for everybody. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, In the Mix. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to hear more, be sure to subscribe. To catch all the latest from Lumiflon, you can visit our website at lumiflonusa.com or follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Lumiflon USA. Thanks again. See you next time.